I'm just prepping dinner for tonight, and it's gonna be a beautiful spring dinner. I know it may not look like this in the background, but it was beautiful and sunny outside. Our snow is melting. So in my mind, spring is here, and I thought I would take you along with me this week while I am prepping beautiful and easy spring dinners. And with spring arriving, I am just in the mood for fresh dinners, and I am starting off tonight with some salmon that I'm gonna do in my oven, and then we're gonna do some creamy spinach as a side and some beautiful boiled salt potatoes. So I had an organic lemon here, and I just put a bunch of slices on here. I love that on my salmon, and I'm gonna put some salt on it. And some crushed black and white pepper. I should have flavored it first and then put on the lemons. I was just too excited. And I've also got some dried herbs from my garden last year. We have some lemon thyme here, so we're just gonna use some of that. That is always beautiful on salmon. I definitely want to grow that again in my garden this year. And by the way, if you're new here, my name is Kristen. And if you're not, then thank you so much for joining back in today. It's great to have you here. And I also have some dried rosemary here. My rosemary in my greenhouse looks pretty frostbitten at the moment, but I hope it will recover. If not, then I will just have to get a new one, because I think it's kind of too late for me to start it from seed by now. And to this beautiful salmon, we're gonna add some extra virgin olive oil. Oh, this looks so good. And this here is grill foil, so it's fine to go in the oven. Okay, we got the salmon all prepped. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna cube up an onion for our creamy spinach. Creamy spinach is like a freezer staple in Germany, but in Estonia I cannot get any creamy spinach. At least I haven't found any store that carries it, so we're just gonna do it ourselves. I have done it one time before, but that was a long time ago, and I would use a shallot if I had, because it's a little bit milder than a white onion, but I think it's gonna be fine regardless. I just use half of this onion and just chop it up really finely. And when I was a kid, my grandma always used to make creamy spinach with boiled or salt potatoes. And then she usually used to fry up 1 or 2 eggs on the side. And that was one of my favorite dishes when I was a child. And honestly, every time I visit back home, my mom always makes it for me now, since sadly my grandma isn't here anymore. But every time my mom makes it, it just takes me immediately back to my childhood. And it's just such a nice memory. And we always had that creamy spinach, especially in the springtime. So since I'm already cutting the onion, I will just go ahead and cut the other half as well. So I'll take a little bit of butter and melt that in here. And then we can add our chopped up onions already. These are sauteing nicely already, and then we can add our washed spinach in here. And because spinach cooks down so much in the process, I will use 2 whole packs of spinach. I am really craving for this creamy spinach. And I was thinking, because I can't find this creamy spinach here in Estonia as a freezer staple, I think I want to go ahead this spring and grow my spinach and then make some creamy spinach for our freezer. So I will freeze it once it's all cooked into these ice cube molds, and then just keep it in a Ziploc bag. And I think that is an amazing idea. I definitely want to try that out. It'd be such a nice thing to have on hand during busy work nights. This is cooking down a lot already. Let me show you. Do you see how much liquid there is in the bottom? We have to let all of that cook out. I'm gonna turn this down to low heat, and I'm gonna add some cream cheese. I will add about 2 tablespoons. And you can just stir it in. And to this, we're gonna add a little bit of nutmeg. About that much, which is maybe 1/4 of a teaspoon. I tend to measure with my heart, so sometimes it's hard to give accurate measurements. And then I would say 1/4 to half of a teaspoon of black pepper and about 1 teaspoon of salt. We can mix all of that. And this is all the spices we're gonna need. This is a really simple dish, like I said. But what we're gonna do now is we're gonna put this in the food processor so the spinach gets cut up into really tiny pieces, and this will also help the onion flavor to mix in a little bit better. I know spinach and nutmeg seems like a wild combo, but trust me, this is so good. I'm gonna pulse it. Okay, that's it. You don't want a sauce, you just want it cut up like that. And I've already put a stain on my shirt, so wear an apron when you do this. Then we will just put it back into our saucepan here. And it's already done. Like I said, this is such an easy dish, but trust me, this is so incredible. Seriously, has been and always will be one of my favorite dishes, especially in the springtime. You can even leave this a little bit more chunky than this is. I should have maybe done 1 pulse less, just because I like my spinach a little bit chunkier, but this is still amazing. It's so good. And so because this went so fast, and the spinach is done already, I can preheat my oven for the salmon, and I'm preheating my oven to 200 degrees. I'll put my washed potatoes in this water now, and we're gonna boil these. Look how funny shaped this potato is. It's like a heart, but with an attachment or something. What do you think this looks like? I don't know, or like a boot? How amazing does this look? And this was so easy. This was salmon with skin, and you can see it comes right off the skin. This was such an easy dinner. You've got to try this creamy spinach. Trust me, it is so good. It will blow your mind how easy but delicious this is. And what I do is I usually mash my potatoes up a little bit, just with the fork, and then I put them in my creamy spinach and I eat it like that. This is so good. I'm so excited to have this for dinner now. And I will see you again tomorrow for our next spring dinner. It is just before 6 o'clock and I'm getting dinner started. And we're gonna make a goat cheese stuffed chicken in the oven. Then we're gonna do some fried potatoes. We have these left from yesterday, and I thought, why not use these? If you do not have leftover potatoes, you could just substitute it for rice, or you can just boil some more. And then my absolute favorite, green asparagus. I love green asparagus. I have it in my garden actually. I planted it last year, but it takes a time to get established until you actually get an harvest from it. I planted crowns, so I should be getting an harvest in around 2 years, I think. It is definitely a time investment, but green asparagus can be pretty pricey if you buy it in the shop. And so planting it in your garden will be a long time investment if you're really into asparagus. Cut them up in the middle, like so. So you have a pouch. I have this goat cheese roll, and I'm gonna cut 3 slices from here. And then I'll just put this cheese in here. And I will also cut up these spring onions. I actually sowed some spring onions today. It was such beautiful weather. And did you know that there are perennial spring onions? I think they're called Welsh onions. But my friend Paula, she gifted me seeds of these Welsh onions, and they can grow in the same spot 3 to 5 years. And I have never had these. So I am very excited to see how they will grow in my garden. Put some spring onions in here as well. Oh, this looks so good already. And I'm gonna use 2 toothpicks to just close it so it doesn't come open. We're just gonna use a little bit of olive oil on these chicken breasts just so they stay nice and juicy. Some salt and crushed black and white pepper. I have this dried wild garlic here. I would add it to the chicken, but I think because I'm doing it in the oven, it's gonna burn. So I'm not going to do that. And we're gonna cover this chicken with our aluminium foil. This here specifically is grill foil. I'm doing this just so it stays juicy and it cooks through before it gets brown, because otherwise chicken breast specifically can tend to go a little dry, and I want to prevent that. And we can put this in the oven already. I have it at 200 degrees Celsius. We'll do 25 minutes covered and then probably 5 to 10 minutes uncovered. So now we can finally deal with our asparagus. I just washed my cutting board and my knife here. And I'm just gonna cut these end pieces here off because they are a little bit woody. By the way, you can eat these raw if you want to. I personally love the taste of raw asparagus. It's just very crunchy. We're both like snacking on it, Chris and me. And melt that. Then we can add in our asparagus already. It will turn this deep green color. Can you see compared to this part here? It is very deep green, very deep green. A pinch of salt. And a little bit more butter, because we're gonna reuse this pan in just a second for our potatoes. I also have my cubed up onion. This is the one that I cut up yesterday. I'm just gonna add this to my potatoes. I'll just leave the onion on top right now because I want the potatoes to get a little bit crispy before the onion starts to cook and release some water. The timer on the oven just went off, so our chicken should be done. Yes. Okay, I think this can go in for probably another 10 minutes. I love cooking with cast iron. Do you see this beautiful browning? And to these I will just add a little bit of black pepper, some salt, some of these spring onions that I saved, and there's a little bit of Parmesan left in here, so I'm just gonna sprinkle it over my potatoes. This looks amazing. The goat cheese even got a nice browning. So here is our dinner for tonight. I think it looks incredible, and it's a very springy combo with the chicken, asparagus, and potatoes with spring onions. I cannot wait to dig into this. amazing. There's a bit of goat cheese on here as well. The goat cheese with the asparagus and potatoes and the chicken. This is so good. I think we're gonna go enjoy this dinner now, and then I will see you again. Tomorrow for our next spring dinner. Welcome back on this Friday, TGIF. I'm gonna head out into our garden because we have cooked dinner in the garden today. Now, if you don't have a grill or you don't have a place to grill, you can simply do this in the pan. I'm just gonna do some chicken that is marinated in wild garlic, but I thought it would be a nice idea to grill it instead to pan fry it because it is such a beautiful day out. Look how big these charcoal pieces are. So I got the fire started. I will just show you some veggies in our garden that actually survived the winter. I'm a bit surprised by some. So the snow is finally melting. You can see I have some Lem's lettuce here from last year. It's looking beautiful. And I have some more over here. A lot of it got really damaged or it's dead. And I have some carrots that also survived the winter and they're slowly putting on new growth, as you can see here. And a garlic is popping up. Then in here, like I said, I have lamb's lettuce. I have some parsley root that survived the winter. I sowed it way too late last year, but it survived the winter. More carrots. Then my leeks, they made it and I am so happy. They look really rough, but they are putting on new growth, but I think I will still harvest them soon, even though they are very tiny. That just shows me that I have to start them way earlier next year. And then the bed here in front of my greenhouse is my garlic bed, and the first garlic is starting to pop up. And that makes me so happy. So I think what we're gonna do is, since I started the grill now, I will watch it until it burns down a little, and then when Christo comes home, I will ask him if he would be willing to grill today. Usually I am the person that grills just because I love it so much. I think because it's so beautiful out, he wouldn't have anything against grilling for me today, so I can make the sides. I quickly ran inside to get some veggies so I can prepare some sides already. I am gonna make a salad as well when Christo is gonna grill, but sweet potato from the grill would be a really good idea. Why not? Some tallow. So I had mentioned previously that I wanted to do a salad on the side next to our grilled meat, but I completely abandoned that idea once I was basically out starting the grill in the garden, just because I was in the mood to spend my time outside. I didn't really want to go back inside and prep a whole salad, so I just grilled up some vegetables that we had in the fridge next to our marinated wild garlic chicken If you cannot find wild garlic chicken in the shop, you can just marinate it yourself with regular garlic, or you can check your farmers markets. They should be selling wild garlic there at the moment. Or you can try to go forage it yourself in the forest. Just be careful to pick the right plants. But I was so happy that I abandoned the salad idea because I got to spend time out in the garden, grilling, which is what I love, and Cristo joined me and we just had such a nice little spring evening there, and then we went back inside to enjoy our dinner. So we just finished dinner and it was so good. I think the sweet potatoes could have probably been on the grill for maybe 10 minutes more. They were just a tiny bit hard in the middle, but they were still really good. And I was so happy that we had our first grill of the season. And if you've made it this far, then I hope you found some of the dinners that we made this week inspiring, or that you're even recreating one of them. And we just hit 3K with the channel today, and I am just so thankful for every single one of you. I truly appreciate and love every single one of you. No matter how hard it is sometimes to grow on YouTube, you are always there keeping me going with your comments and your support. So just a really heartfelt thank you from my side. And if you like content like this, then I would appreciate it so much if you would subscribe to the channel, and I would love to have you here. And with that being said, never forget, you are worthy, you are loved. I hope you have the most amazing day and that something nice happens to you, and I hope to see you back on my channel next time. Bye!